So I don't usually show a whole lot of negative on my channel. The world is kind of a negative place right now, and I really try to keep upbeat and happy and show a positive attitude on my channel. But we can't always be positive. Sometimes there's a negative. But for the most part, I really do try to keep a positive attitude. And hopefully encourage other people to keep a positive attitude, even with all the negativity in the world. And just try not to let them get you down. Don't let them get you down. Try your best to stay positive. Keep a good outlook on things, even if sometimes things go wrong. And I do know that we're going through some rough times right now, and things are really rough. You know, prices of everything, they're all jumping up and stuff. And all I can say is just look to God, keep your chin up, and keep a positive attitude, because if you have a negative attitude, it's just going to drag yourself and everybody else around you down. So just try to keep a positive attitude and lift other people up. It works wonders. And remember, keep looking to God for your answers. So I came out looking amongst my scrap metal piles to find some metal tubing, and I believe this will do the trick. And this is metal that I picked up off the side of the road. It is off of, I believe it was a boat. They replaced the canvas topping on a boat, and they had this sitting out on the side of the road to go to the garbage. I picked it up, brought it home, and I believe that's going to be perfect for what I need today. So here we go. Those pieces are now cut. Holes are drilled in them. This is half of what I've done. Kara already took the other half next door. I just have a little bit of fine tuning. Get the burrs off so nobody gets caught or cut. And run a file down there, clean that up so that my pieces of tubing will slide right in. We're halfway there, just a little bit more to go. And I just want to say that all of the metal work that was done so far has all been done with stuff I either found on the side of the road or collected from garage sales. So the metal piping I found on the side of the road, the drill bits that I used are from a garage sale. The drill that I used is from a garage sale, and so is the angle grinder that I used to cut these pieces of metal down. Even the wheel, the cutoff wheel that I used today, I got at a garage sale. So everything. The center punch I used to mark the holes for this was just a screw that I had laying around that was no longer good, so I used that to mark my holes. Everything I've done has been on this project so far has been from collecting and saving other people's garbage. Even the file I'm using for this project is somebody else's trash. I am a junk collector, but man, it saves me so much money in the end to be this junk collector. Now my yard might not be pristine and beautiful like everybody else's, but I have the stuff it takes to get some projects done around the house without going and breaking the bank. And if you're like me, you can't just go buy stuff all the time brand new. You know, I have to save where I can, when I can, so that when there is something I have to buy, I can afford it. And right now, things are just too darn expensive. I can't afford it. Anything. It's just crazy how expensive everything's gotten. And now, you know, it's Jiminy Christmas. I was looking at vehicles and stuff because, you know, it'd be nice to have a vehicle that was a little bit more trustworthy and dependable, but I can't afford those things. It's crazy how expensive they are right now. Even used ones, they want almost brand new prices for a used vehicle that's 4 years old and got 70,000 miles on it. You might as well just go buy a brand new vehicle. And it's crazy. It's just ridiculous. These vehicle prices got to come down so a fella like me can afford to get back and forth to work. Oh well, I'm not going to complain about it. Just going to figure it out and deal with it. I took a break from working on the potato bed because somebody just dropped this dirt off with me and said that this is some of the best pay dirt they've ever had and that I'm guaranteed to get nuggets. So I dropped everything and I'm ready to pan this out and see what kind of nuggets I'm gonna get. Holy cow! They're floating to the top, they're supposed to sink! That is some of the best pay dirt I've ever seen! Look at those nuggets! Kennebec Gold! Holy cow! I'm rich! I'm not gonna starve this winter! Those nuggets are as big as my fist! Look at that! I lost one of them. There you have it. That's one plant's worth of potatoes out of my garden. Now you just got to fish this one that I lost out. Ooh, that water cold. There it is. And, oh yeah, always try to have a little bit of fun too. Don't be so serious. Okay, so this is what I did. And this is not like a greenhouse to keep the heat in or anything like that. This is to keep the water out so that this dirt will dry out, because it's well draining soil, but it's still pretty wet, and I want the dirt to dry out for harvesting the potatoes. I don't want to be digging through a bunch of mud trying to get my potatoes out. I want them to dry out, and I do not want my potatoes to rot in the ground. So that's why I came up with this and did this quick idea. And in the future, let me zoom out just a little bit. In the future, I can use this as a greenhouse in the spring type of thing. And the biggest thing I can see right now is I need to add just a couple more hoops in there. I need my hoops to be just probably like 3 more hoops would be about perfect in there. Because that is kind of a long bed. But this is the material that I had on hand. Saved me from wasting fuel driving to town. I'm going to be driving to town tomorrow to go to church. And so I'll just pick up 3 more of the lengths of PEX tubing, and that is the only thing in this whole project that is brand new. Everything else in this whole project is used or recycled, reused material. Right there is where the tubing that I cut is. I just screwed that in to the flower bed. Plastic is even reused from somebody's greenhouse. So everything on here is reused except for the PEX piping. Very nice way to make things. This is one way to stretch the few dollars you have, saving stuff that other people are getting rid of, cleaning out, throwing away. The person I got the plastic from used it once and wanted to get rid of it. And I know I have another roll of plastic around here that I got from a garage sale. It's a little bit heavier duty, but darned if I couldn't find it. That's what happens. You buy a lot of stuff, and then I bought it years and years ago, and now I can't find it. It's just up in the shed somewhere. But I found this roll and said this will do the trick, and that's when I quit looking. So trying to stretch my dollars and make them last, and as long as I can. And I'm not going to say, after digging up that first plant, I'm not going to say that this is a win. It's just not a loss. I was hoping to get more potatoes per plant, and that just might be the Kennebec Gold. Might not yield as much potatoes. I thought I remember reading, though, that they were a high yielding potato. But with the year that we've had this year, all the rain and stuff, they died off real quick. So might not be the best potato for me here on my piece of land in my garden. I just have to see what the other potatoes do. I believe the ones at the end are the russets, and they're still pretty green. So happy with that. But yep, you can't always win on everything, but it just makes the wins that much sweeter when you get them. But this is definitely not a fail, because I definitely got a few potatoes off of that plant. You put one potato in the ground and you pull 5 out. That's not too bad. I'd just like to see the harvest that I've gotten in the past, where I plant one potato and I get 10 or 12 potatoes out of it. But we'll see what happens here in a couple weeks when I dig all of these potatoes up. And people might laugh at you and say you're crazy and why are you saving all this junk? But man, sometimes this junk saves my hide. My other option would have been to just throw tarps on it like I did last year, and that didn't work so well last year. I wanted to try something different this year, see if this works a little bit better. Now if we have high winds or big gusts of winds come up, it'll probably tear this apart. But I usually am protected down here. I have the hillside behind me that kind of blocks all of the wind. It goes right over the top of me rather than hitting me. Unless we have real high winds, I'm usually well protected here. So just keep our fingers crossed that that's what happens till this dirt dries out a little bit and I can dig my potatoes. Some of the plants aren't totally dead yet, so I kind of want to let them all die off. It'd be really nice if they could make it through the first frost, but it never happens, because by the time you get your first frost here, you got snow falling, and then the potatoes will be stuck in the ground till next spring. And I don't want that either. I want to eat them this winter. Here is the romaine that Kara planted. It's all nice and tall, and there's more romaine than we can use. So we're picking off the leaves that are a little bit wonky, have something wrong with them, and feeding them to the chickens. They love them. couple zucchini squash plants, or squash plants, and they're producing really nice. There's another one right there. That's supposed to be kale, but it didn't do so well. More squash. There's a nice one right there. Got some more nice. There's lots of them on this plant. Doing really good. Really surprising with as late a start as they got, how much we're getting now off of there. But that's a nice looking plant now. Right there. And here's the container squash. Got 3 squash still in there. That one's been harvested. And there's another one. And some have been harvested off of that already too. But there's a couple more on there. Got a little bit more romaine that we planted later. Got a strawberry growing there. That's a volunteer strawberry. Here's an actual zucchini plant. Got a nice little zucchini on it. Another one right there. I think that's about all we've got so far off of it. Some more squash. Doing really good. Oops. Get it in focus. Couple more on there. That one needs to be harvested. Another squash there. Some more romaine. And the problem with the romaine, and the reason why we have so much, is because at first none of them were germinating. So we figured, okay, we lost that group, so we planted more. And then they didn't germinate. And we're going, well, we got bad seeds, so let's get another packet and try again. So we have 3 crops of romaine that all germinated at the same time. So yeah, that's our plight with the romaine this year. And that's a bad problem to have. No, that's a good problem to have. Another squash. It's doing really good. Got a lot of new babies on it. There's some more squash there. We better know that we love squash, and then see if I can get a good picture of some of the beans. They still flowering, still beautiful. They did get attacked by the slugs a little bit, but I need to come down and harvest. I've already harvested 1 handful off, but it's definitely time to come in and harvest some more. I'll have to do that tonight. But look at that, got them kind of all over the place. Quite a few of them. Gonna have beans for dinner, green beans for dinner. There's another nice one hiding in the shade. And then my potato plants. They too got attacked by the slugs. They kind of got really tall and bent over. They're dying off now in spots, and other spots the plants just bent over and kept growing. So Still looking really good for the most part. Just some of them are kind of yellow. And then these are pretty much done. I'll probably be digging them here pretty soon. Probably just dig this whole bed here pretty soon. At least down to this level. And leave these grow for a little bit longer till they all die off. Because this is the point where it's time to pick them, dig them up. So that is what's left of my garden. I'm going to take you up and let you look at my rhubarb plant. And my rhubarb, even though we keep harvesting it, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. This is the best rhubarb plant I've ever seen. Look at that thing. It's still huge. And we've harvested, goodness, probably 15 pounds, I would say, of rhubarb off of there at least. We used some of the rhubarb off of this plant in the spicy cherry jelly that we made. So the radishes are done for the year. I didn't plant any more, and I probably won't. We have a break on the radishes. But everything else that we planted now is coming into its own, making it, filling our bellies up a little bit. Like I said at the beginning of the summer, I really wasn't going to try too hard to make a full-blown garden this year. I was trying to focus on other things. I think one of those things that I was supposed to be focusing on was building a greenhouse. And it hasn't happened yet. I got busy with other things. Been called away for 2 weeks to go help other stores. Things like that. Rain. Just lots of other things that I keep having to go do and stuff. And I'm still hoping that I have a good September and I can build that greenhouse. At least get the framing up and get the glass on, so that it'll at least be wintered in. So I can still plant plants this fall, or this spring, next spring. Goodness. I'm sorry, I just got off from work and I'm kind of tired. So that's my garden update. And I just want to thank you for watching this edition of Not So Remote Alaska. And until next time, may God bless and keep each and every one of you. And with that, I am out.